not gonna trick me out of my freedom.
So who is Tax Stone? Daryl Campbell is a podcaster with huge potential who hit the scene swinging. He had huge media ties, including people like Charlemagne, who are willing to take the street guy turned podcaster under their wing. I remember one of Tax Stone's biggest early moments being him kicking Joe Budden off his podcast for being weird.
I think you're interesting.
Yo, what is wrong with this dude, son? Yo!
Why are you screaming in the mic?
Cause I asked you a question, my nigga. What you talking about, son? What's wrong with this dude?
No.
No what? What is he talking about?
Are you gonna continue to scream in this
I'm asking a question. What is wrong with you, son?
Are you gonna continue to scream in this
I'm asking a question. What is wrong with you, son?
Okay, we should end this.
No, Joe, what projects do you have going on right now?
What the is wrong with this nigga, son?
We should end this though.
Nah, son. This is crazy, son. Let's end this.
You good?
I'm asking this nigga a question.
All right, that was that
shit, son. Like, don't do that.
Now, what made people like Tax Stone is also what contributed to his demise. Tax Stone was a hothead, a bully, and incapable of putting his ego aside to reach his potential. Here's an example. During a Vlad interview, Vlad asked him if he had a glass eye. Tax Stone would say, "I do not have a glass eye. I am just blind in this eye. I was shot in my eye while pointing under the eye, and that the gunpowder burned his retina." He would explain the story of how he bullied the guy and that being the reason the guy shot him. Now, this part is insane. I want to quote this one verbatim. I always tell people don't bully because you push a person that's scared. And this dude, I actually seen him 2 nights before. I smacked him and I was in front of his building because I had friends that lived in his building. So I seen him and I said, "Yo, you said something about me being or whatever?" And he was like, "What?" Like confused. And I spit on him. And there was a lady behind me that I didn't know was his mother. And she was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I kind of felt bad, but I had already did it, you know what I mean? So it was like, whatever you want to do. How do you bully somebody and then get in this ego mode where it's like, I didn't came this far, I came back down? That is insane to me. But let me continue to quote. He kept it pushing, went in the building, and like 2 days later, I saw him going in the building. I bust a U-turn, jump out the car on him. He was putting the key in the door and I walked right behind him and I slapped him mad hard and then I put him in a fiend. I was choking him out. So then he was like on his knees and on his way down, I didn't even see the gun. I just felt the boom. Now, Vlad would ask him, what was going through your mind when you got shot? Now, I kid you not, with this smile on his face, he said that all he could think was he got to shoot back and shoot everybody. He would then explain that he hit 2 innocent bystanders, one being a guy he went to school with, mother, and a little girl. Tax Stone was nice enough to give him a shout out for holding him down in court and not telling on him. This is what blows me. Tax should have been locked in prison for a while after this happened. Why are you not telling the police on that dude? Listen. I'm not in the streets. I live my life the honest way and don't hurt people. If a stray bullet hits me and I see it coming from you, oh, you going to prison, bucko. I'll turn it to Denzel Washington on training day. Okay, all right. I'm putting cases on all you itches, huh? You think you can do this shit to me? Jay, you think you can do this shit to me? You will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I'm finished with you. Shoot, I can't even say all that. I ain't trying to get demonetized. 23-hour lockdown. Now I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of day. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. But I digress. Now, how did we get here? How did we get to Troy Ave and Tax Stone beef? Or how did we get to this point? Tax Stone has always been vocal about his disdain for Troy Ave. In a 2015 interview with Global Grind TV, he admitted to having an argument and almost fighting Troy Ave for attempting to sell him a CD in 2005. He wasn't a fan of Troy Ave saying he put New York back on. He wasn't a fan of Troy Ave's cockiness. He would often tell people, Troy Ave is a hustler. Don't allow his work ethic to outshine your talent. Now, if I'm Troy Ave, I hate him too. So last year, Adam interviewed Troy Ave and asked, what is up with your beef? Troy Ave basically denied the story and said Tax is basically a hater and Troy didn't even know him personally. Even with research, I genuinely couldn't find where this started. All I could find is Tax Stone constantly hating on Troy Ave and publicly making him a punching bag. Tax Stone even admitted to dedicating years harassing Troy Ave. I'll show this clip because it isn't Vlad, because Vlad claims everything.
I don't have an issue with Troy Ave. I think his music is mediocre and he tried to portray this image that he was making greater music than everybody in the city when he wasn't.
He just released a diss song about you. So So
Yeah,
what did you say to
like a
get
3-minute diss record. I think it was his best record ever. I actually like the record. I played it 76 times. What did I do? I bothered him for 5 years, like just on social media, just calling him out on different things.
Troy Ave would go on to make a diss song about Tax escalating the situation. Tax would later see Troy Ave in an event at Irving Plaza, and that's when it happened. A fight broke out, and Troy Ave was seen on camera wielding a gun and shooting at someone off camera. He was arrested and bombarded with charges. Tax Stone was free. Troy Ave had been accused of taking the life of his own friend, firing into a club, endangering people, and having the gun also. It would later be revealed that Tax Stone fingerprints were on the magazine of the weapon. Wait, you're telling me the story that Tax Stone pulled a weapon, Troy Ave fought him, took the weapon, and fired at him was actually a real story? That's insane. Tax Stone would later be arrested for the homicide and have his lawyer write a letter implicating Troy Ave as being the bad guy who did it. What is very interesting to me is people who were cool with Tax Stone would publicly push a narrative to get fans to turn on Troy Ave. Charlamagne the God being one of the biggest perpetrators, he'd sit out of Troy Ave's 2021 Breakfast Club interview to stand in solidarity with Tax Stone. You would hear other celebs or media personalities align with Tax. China Mac, for example, recently started a beef with Mav Hoffa because of an interview in which him and Troy Ave spoke about the situation. He, like many, would constantly preach free Tax Stone, and for what? He was a hater, a bully, someone who openly admitted to bullying and harassing multiple people. Some I didn't even mention in this video. He bullied someone so much they shot him because he was choking them unconscious and even hit innocent bystanders. What exactly are we asking to free him for? Now, Troy Ave has done his fair share of tomfoolery, making fun of mental health, poking at self-deletion victims. I personally am not a fan of Troy Ave, but you have to be fair. Why did Tax Stone bring a weapon to that event? Why did he use the weapon? Why not use the same hands you were using to bully others? Were you only the tough guy with people you felt you could bully? And why did the culture side with him? This is my problem with the culture. We have no consistent morals or values. A brother lost his life and we're saying free the man who did it. It's prominent figures in our culture pushing garbage narratives that hold us back as a collective. Now, if you haven't heard, Tax Stone has been found guilty on all charges and Troy Ave is free. Many are calling Troy Ave a rat for testifying, but completely ignored Tax Stone's letter given to the lawyer to ask for him to get out and point the finger at Troy Ave. Now, me personally, I don't care about either of these actions. I'm simply disgusted by the actions of Tax Stone. He took the life of a man and was going to allow that man's best friend to rot in prison for it. And he got his industry buddies to twist the narrative to help him in the court of public opinion. As a culture, we have to do better. And this is the hypocrisy of the culture.